Hey guys, Assign here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're doing another comic book review. Today we're looking at Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong number 2, although this is volume 2 out of this set, if I remember correctly. This is written by Brian Bucatello with art by Chris Deuce, and Luis Guerrero is the colorist here. And this is a pretty good issue. I think that this has been more like well written than the previous storyline that Brian Bucatello worked on, but it's also slightly less interesting, if that makes sense. Like, the issue I had with last time was that there was a lot happening and there was a lot of different areas that things were happening on. Everything here in this version is concentrated on the same location or within the same location set, right? And so everything feels more focused, but it's less interesting, if that makes sense. But it's still pretty enjoyable to read. So this opens up with Shaw taking over the Task Force X. He shot Amanda Waller last time. And at Skull Island, the Justice League is fighting King Kong. They don't want to fight him per se, but they have to because he doesn't back down, right? He is king of this island, and he's upset that there's these other creatures that are also powerful here, right? The thing is that he doesn't seem to recognize Supergirl. So I wonder if this is a different version of Kong, or if it is the same version, but something has happened to make him forget about them, right? I'm curious about that. I don't know if we'll get to know what the answer is, but he's not backing down. He's upset that they're here, and then he jumps. And it seems like he's going to attack the Justice League, but it turns out that he's actually attacking another creature that was behind them that they didn't notice, which is this kaiju-fied Killer Croc that he battles, right? And this is pretty awesome. Killer Croc does look like a kaiju, and then being kaiju size is pretty awesome. Although the kind of mechanics that are used to make this happen really do feel like Rita Repulsa's like make my monster grow kind of feeling. And that's kind of funny. I feel like a machine or a timer or something else would have been better instead of like whatever drug thing that Lex Luthor is using to make them big. And well, Killer Croc apparently sucks at fighting because King Kong beats him quite easily. And the thing is that the Justice League is seeing this, and they don't really want Kong to kill Killer Croc. So they try to stop it, but it's a bit too late. And so he actually seems to have died when he shrinks back to normal size. Now, I wonder if this is actually Kong's fault, or if it's due to the drug affecting Killer Croc in some way. I'm sure that growing gigantic and then shrinking back down is not good for the heart, right? And so I'm sure that he probably died from that, not really from Kong killing him, right? And it seems like Killer Croc has been filled with Godzilla's signature, like his specific radiation signature, which is interesting. I guess the kaiju energy is what's helping him grow, but it seems like it's not perfected yet. We transition away from the Justice League here to focusing on Lex Luthor, who's on Skull Island. The Justice League managed to catch up to him, but the Legion of Doom or the Suicide Squad or Task Force X, they're kind of a bit of everything, and so they're all mixed together, and they all like a different name for themselves. There, they show up to fight off the Justice League, right? And Flash actually gets shot by Captain Cold, and I like the idea, but I just feel like it wasn't executed that well because Captain Cold didn't do anything to set up the shot. He just kind of shot at him, and somehow it managed to work, and it didn't really do anything to him. It seems to have grazed the Flash, but apparently that was enough for him to get a concussion, and that's affecting his ability to use his powers. So I think the logic used there is a bit weak. I feel like unless a lot of prep time goes into it, there's no way the Flash should be able to be shot by a bullet, right? Unless the bullet is equally as fast as him or whatever the case may be. But I don't see how Cold could be the one that does it to him, right? Without using his ice gun beforehand, right? Or whatever ice powers he has, right? So I don't know. I don't think I really liked this plot point. but it is what it is. It's already happened. Batman also loses his mech. I think Giganta manages to rip it apart, right? And so the team splits up. Superman goes after Lex Luthor. The others fight or try to evacuate the Flash from the scene. And Supergirl goes off to talk to Kong. But he doesn't recognize her, like I said, and he flicks her away with his finger. And she ends up getting, crashing into the ground. And apparently it seems like there's something wrong with their powers. At least there is for Superman later on. I don't know if Supergirl's going through the same thing. I like Skull Island is still technically on the surface of the planet. So there is a sun. So she should be getting powered up by the yellow sun because there is a yellow sun, right? But it seems like Kong is as strong as her, which I don't remember being the case from last time, but I could be wrong there. And when she crashes into the ground, she hears Wonder Woman needing help, and so she goes off to help her. And then we transition to a Monarch outpost where we see Captain Cold and Manta head out to help out the rest of the villains who are now fighting off Wonder Woman in a different location, right? And Superman goes down into the Hollow Earth. He finds a cave there with Lex Luthor in it, and there's no sun, so Superman will slowly weaken over time. He will lose power, but the big reveal here to end the issue is that there's more Kongs. This is what we saw in the very, very depths of the Hollow Earth. There are other giant ape characters. We saw this in Godzilla versus Kong, the last one. I can't remember what it was called. I can't remember the subtitle, but pretty cool reveal there at the end. I feel like the characters are less powerful than they were last time. Maybe it's because they're not on their home turf, and so there's some allowances given to let the Godzilla characters, the legendary comics characters, be a bit more powerful than they would be otherwise. I'm not really sure, but it feels like some of the story points aren't really following the logic set up by, lore. So I don't know. Overall, the artwork is pretty good. But some of the faces that they're given to the characters, some of the way that the characters are drawn is a bit rough, and it's not my favorite. It's not particularly bad either. There's definitely been other creators that do worse, but it's not really too bad overall. It's just not the best, right? Which sucks because everything else about the characters looks awesome, and the coloring and everything works really, really well. And then you see some of their faces, and it kind of breaks the illusion or the interest that I have in it, right? So that kind of sucks a little bit, but it's not too bad overall. It's not a bad issue, and I will continue to collect the series. I do have the next issue already, so I'll do a review for that one soon, and then we'll move on and see what else we can do for this series, right? After the third issue, maybe I'll drop it. I'm not really sure. I don't think I will, but it's always a possibility, right? So yeah, there you go. Those are my thoughts here on Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2. Hopefully we get a third one that's maybe a bit better than this one has been so far. But I don't know, maybe we don't need more than two. So yeah, we'll see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.